Thanks for staying with us. So we're going to start with The Nation. As I said, quite a number of papers have lots of greetings for Asiwaju's birthday. But we'll start with a quote from me. Tinubu says, "Only unity, peace can make Nigeria great." NSA goes tough on quoted companies. Buhari, Lawang, Gbajabiamila governors, others extol ex-governor of Lagos State at 69. Okay, so let's talk about strategy for a moment. Yes, you're going to say something?
Yes, so the entire, country seemed to be wishing Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu happy birthday today as it clocks 69. Of course, annual colloquium is going to be taking place today all the way in
Kano, 12 noon.
Kano State by 12 noon. I've always enjoyed the colloquium. I think it's very interactive and informative, so people should pay attention to have an enlightening conversation. But I believe strongly that he's someone worth celebrating for the platform that he has put together, the blueprint that Lagos State is riding upon, largely developed by him and his team. Many of the successors that he has successful people that he has created the platform for them to thrive, from the VP to the minister, Fashola, to many other people, other people that we've seen everywhere, who's demonstrated exemplary leadership.
Let me just mention a few quotes from here, from the papers. So Governor Sanwo-Olu says, "Nigeria's democracy is not complete without Tinubu." We have the Emir of Kano saying that Tinubu is a unifying factor. The APC governors also said that they look up to Tinubu for his guidance. Yes,
I like that at the time of this, very visible division across the country, too many crises everywhere, he chose his birthday to be a time to serve again and, talk about how important we should remain a nation, saying that unity is what we need right now. Most people at this time would, be very, very, it's a personal matter, be involved in more dinners and all of that, but he chose at this time to remember the country, Nigeria. I think it's a good way to go.
So this is a birthday, and you people are all intellectual and serious. Happy birthday. God bless you. Long life, prosperity.
Yes,
God reward you for all your hard work and labor towards the lives of Lagosians. What's happening now?
And Governor Akeredolu also said he's legendary. It's important that I mention these quotes because also I think there was another quote I wanted to that was really fascinating. Oh, our president says that Tinubu has inspired many leaders for Nigeria's benefit, which is what Telco just echoed now. There will be quite a lot of leaders through him, and he has provided platforms for them to thrive. Okay, moving on. There was a story in North Punch, NSE. You wanted to take?
Yes, the Nigerian Stock Exchange, the CEO of Nigerian Stock Exchange is saying that every company that is on the platform must submit their reports, and if any delay, they will be flagged for non-compliance. They'll also be flagged as not having good corporate governance. That everybody should have their 2020 report submitted at the accurate time. That's basically the story.
Right, moving on to The Punch. Daily fuel consumption hits 72.7 million liters. Marketers blame smuggling. Family kicks over planned handover of mentally ill woman's baby to Lagos couple. 9 fed killed in Osun, Benue, and Anambra court clashes. COVID-19 hindering Ajaokuta technical auditors, says minister. Police partner hunters as 3 abducted in Osun, 50 million naira demanded, and Kogi still missing as Nigeria's vaccination rises to 513,000. Most Nigerian airports not viable, says Senate committee. And NIN, telcos lose 11.8 million subscribers in 4 months. Right, let's start with the
human interest.
Yes, human interest story.
Yes, so the family of Funke Olujide, a mentally ill woman, are raising alarm over the planned handover of her child to another family in Lagos. So she was mentally ill and was raped by some hoodlums a few years ago. Then she gave birth, and the baby was taken from her and handed over to the orphanage. This happened in Ondo State, handed over to the orphanage. But then after a while, the family members saw her roaming the streets and brought her back. She's recuperating, she's getting better. Now they wanted to have their baby back. So they went to the orphanage. They realized that the child had been given to another family. So the family went through the adoption process and adopted the baby. But they took the matter to the police. They wanted to have that baby back. The orphanage, people who ran the orphanage complained that they didn't have enough funds to take care of all the babies there. So they had to give out. So they've dragged this case to court now. And I think before they went to court, they were trying to sort it out in the police. And they had promised that they were going to give the baby back to the original owner of the baby, but then the court now sent, they had a court hearing without the original mother of the baby, and decided to hand over the baby to the first family that adopted that child. So the woman is crying and lamenting. The mother of the woman is saying that she was actually getting better when she had the hope that she was going to receive her baby, but now she's getting worse. They need the baby back into the family, and it's only the courts that has the right to say who takes this baby, because those people adopted that baby legally.
It's going to be really sad for everybody. I want to take the story of auditors. The Ajaokuta steel plant. Actually, let me start by saying that the Minister for Mines and Steel Development, Olamileko Adegbite, has gotten the funds to implement along all the 6 geopolitical zones, facilitating exploration of our minerals. So for Kano, they want to do gold. For Bauchi, they said Bauchi has kaolin, which is very important for pharmaceutical products. Then the Ajaokuta steel plant is supposed to be revitalized, but before the revitalization, there should be audit. Now, the challenge is that due to COVID, we haven't been able to get the people that would do the proper audit. But I think that I'm hearing a lot about the minerals and this mining industry, and I think Nigerians should pay attention, because according to what the minister said, government isn't going to be doing any business in mining. They are only going to provide the framework to ensure that exploration takes place according to the book. So Nigerians that are interested should pay attention.
I just pray that they always include environmental impact in all of this.
Exactly. That's true.
The vaccination, Nigeria has attained about 513,000 plus vaccination, with only Kogi recording no vaccination at all.
Nil.
Nil. So Kogi had sometimes last week claimed that, vaccines were distributed not to everybody except them. And now the primary health care boss is saying, the National Primary Health Care Boss is saying that only Kogi has not gotten anybody vaccinated within their state. I don't know. He's not saying in the story that they've been given. He's just saying they've not vaccinated.
Right. In a related story, however, India, where we're getting most of these vaccines, are saying that they're going to halt production.
Wow.
And they've halted production because they wanted to ensure they provide for their own population first before shipping out. So they had planned to send 16 million vaccines to Nigeria, but only 4 million for now. And if they halt production, that would definitely affect those of us in Nigeria. Even those are expected to take their second dose in June. Might affect. So we're really worried about that, but they're hoping that there can be a reverse of this ban so that Nigerians can get the vaccines on time. Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue the front page review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. Moving on now to Vanguard. Armed forces poised to battle ESN, others, says Navy chief. The Nigerian Union of Local Government threatens to shut down councils over bill to scrap 774 local governments. State of the nation, it's not enough to focus on negatives, says presidency. Lopsided appointments of appeal court judges polarizing Nigeria, says CAN. And peace in Lagos, Kano necessary for Nigeria's stability, says Tinubu. All right, which story are we taking?
Okay, I could do the
major headline. Let's start with the major headline.
Yes. So there's been a lot of killings in the southeast. I think about a few weeks ago, 4 naval officers were killed, and the army, in conjunction with the police, have arrested about 15 suspects who they allege that they are from IPOB, that they are the ones carrying out these killings against the naval officers and the police. And they are saying that they had to read the Riot Act to them, saying they are not going to take any form of insecurity coming from IPOB and Eastern Security Network. But IPOB has responded saying that this is not our members who are doing this. They are not carrying out their activities based on violence. Their head is not focusing on violence. They are trying to protect the lives and properties of their people, that the police should tidy up its house, to clean up itself, to ensure that their men are doing the work they're supposed to do, and not, lazing around extorting people from their hard-earned money and relaxing, letting the headers, the criminal headers attack their people, and then you come around and blame it on IPOB members. So it's been a back and forth. But the people who have been arrested are in custody. Some of them have confessed to be a part of IPOB.
Right, they also recovered about 14 AK-47 magazines, 549 AK-47 live ammunitions, 10 improvised explosive devices from these people. Only one person was 60. Most of them were in their 30s and 20s. It is really, really sad that the level of insecurity we have here at the moment.
Any other story you want to take? The local government? Who has that story? Which other? Go ahead.
Take it in other papers. Should we take it?
Which other story do you want to take?
Okay, the National Union of Local Government Workers have threatened to shut down 774 local government areas that we have within the country if the bill presently being debated on the floor of the House of Reps, proposed by this House of the Honorable from Rivers State, continues to be debated on the floor. He said the stance to totally clear out that tier of government. At least I think the bill is to get us to a two-tier government, so federal and state, and totally clear out the local government, and it's being debated presently on the floor of the House.
There's a story that caught my attention in Vanguard, which is disquiet as 7 companies account for 77% market share size at the Nigerian Stock Exchange, while 150 other companies squeeze into the 22.9% market share. That is worth conversation. That's a conversation worth having. So we can bring in experts. Because how do you have only 7 companies take that much market share? That's a problem for us, and we need to get an economist to come and shed some light on that. Moving on now to Daily Sun. Fuel crisis looms as tanker drivers threaten strike. Ohaneze, Southeast governors ready for regional security. Act fast to save Nigeria, Khan tells Buhari. Police arrest 16 for killing security operatives and raising police stations. Southwest stakeholders oppose life pensions for ex-governors and deputies. And why insecurity, unemployment are soaring, says Atiku. Okay, which story are we taking? Go ahead.
Petroleum tankers have given us a 14-day ultimatum to look into their working conditions and also provide what they call a fireproof valve in all of their tankers before they go on strike.
Who's supposed to provide
from May 1st. That's the problem. I read the story. I'm not thinking I own a tanker, but somebody else is supposed to provide the valve to didn't understand. But I don't know how they operate. I think that the tanker drivers, I see them, should be more responsible. The way they protect, they have a very tough force within the petroleum operators, and that's the labor part of their association. They are strong, they have voice, they are organized. They should also make sure that their drivers are of the right psyche. Trained to, to understand people and protect people. We know they are considering their lives lost when their tankers fall, the explosions that they have, the loss of their trucks as well as their drivers. But what about people living around and the way they comport themselves? You can have tankers climbing on the walkway, pedestrian walkway.
They shouldn't even be allowed.
When they come in, because they are a force, they are a unit, they come in and say, okay, what can you do? That's how they operate. We see them at the depot, what they do to us.
Thank you, Tokwe, because this is another topic we need to have. Because when you come around as a union, you are quite strong.
Yes.
But if you are strong under the leadership of people who are totally unruly, you are going to just go, you're going to cause a problem for the larger society.
Exactly.
So if you're going to have a union of people who are constructive, who are civil.
That you're driving a truck it is a job that should have dignity. So don't undignify yourself in the first place. I had a confrontation with one of these container drivers. Why are you people always doing this, taking over the roads? And we are seeing us here 8 hours. He said, is it today that you will say this thing? I was provoked. Before one of them had to come and calm me down.
Let's move on to another story.
We can have conversations with them.
There was a drama that took place in the plane between Eze Ilumnaya when he attacked the former governor Okorocha. Of Imo State. So what happened was they were to sit in the same plane, side by side. And while they were seated, immediately Okorocha sat down beside him. He started making, not just threatening, he was shouting
Why?
that he did not want to sit, get out of my sight, get out of my sight. It took the captain to relocate former Governor Okorocha to another location. Now, this issue had obviously been ongoing because he also mentioned that the governor should not come anywhere near his state. He's the governor of Olu. And apparently, he's the Eze of Olu, and it was also the chairman of all the traditional leaders. And while Okorocha was the governor, Okorocha moved him from the position and also removed him from being the Eze, and did not reinstate him even when the court had given the instruction to the governor to reinstate him. So it's a long issue. We want peace. The spokesperson for Okorocha said that Okorocha is a peaceful person, that he could also have escalated the situation, but he moved. Well, for the peace to be long-term, I think there must be a proper handshake. Apologies must be rendered, but we don't want this kind of thing from Eze, and we also, to peacefully resolve this issue.
Can we move on?
So the square.
I would thought it was something else that even happened. I beg, move on.
Okay, so
Ohaneze
Ndigbo and the Southeast governors have concluded to launch a regional outfit, just like Amotekun. They are saying that they've realized that the Igbo people are usually at the bottom when it comes to insecurity, and they need to have a platform where they can protect themselves. And they are also appealing to the federal government to understand that it's time for the Igbo man to become the president. It's time for the zoning to happen. So all these open your ticket for anybody who is eligible, this is not the time for it. The only way that we can ensure that there is peace and the Igbo people are pleased is when it gets to their turn, they get the position. So they are working together, lobbying, and hopefully.
We have to move on very quickly now to daily trust. Tough time for landlords and tenants. Rent paid, piecemeal house owners offer discounts. 228 billion naira oil gas fabrication facility rots in Lagos creeks. Oil crisis, pastor, 15 others arrested over killing of security men. Let's take any story there.
I found the media headline interesting. So the article was just taking our total calculation of the situation of property and housing, provision of housing in the country, across the country. According to that article, tenants have had a difficult time since 2015, since the first recession, and till date with the COVID lockdown, people are losing jobs, so they're finding it difficult to pay. In Abuja, some people have started resorting to paying in installments and their annual rent. So if I have money, I'll come and pay you. So I'll pay you a total annual rent. According to the witness account they took in Abuja, that one pays. Then some people are resorting to tenancy tribunals to evict their tenants who are owing them. Some tenants are getting discounts. I think these are soft issues. I see landlords around me. A friend of mine gave discount to all his tenants. And during the lockdown, he even gave them palliatives.
Right.
So it depends. We should be our brother's keeper. Yes, at this time, we should be our brother's keeper. Tenants must also understand that some landlords depend on their rent as their own pension provision.
Very quick story. So the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors are to begin an indefinite strike on Thursday. They are, lamenting the hazard allowance that is just 5,000 naira. They complain that since 2020 that COVID-19 started, about 17 of their doctors have died. Till today, they have not received any form of insurance for the family, and they are complaining about it. So they had given the federal government a 60-day ultimatum, which is going to be expiring on the 31st. That's a Thursday. When it expires and the federal government doesn't do anything or say anything about it, they are going to go on strike. This is not the time for them to go on strike.
I was going to take
COVID-19 is not the only problem we have, but we have other serious ailments that need doctors' attention. Please, federal government, listen to
We have to run, unfortunately, we're out of time. But let me just take one final story. Telcos may lose 25 billion. You have that story?
Yes, so telcos have already lost 11.8 million subscribers in the past 4 months. Number one person recording loss is Airtel, followed by MTN, before Glo, and the reason being the NIN registration, because they haven't been able to sell data. New lines are not being allowed. You can't retrieve your line when your line gets stolen, and then you can't even port. All of this is currently affecting businesses. The telcos are complaining about it, and their revenue dip is estimated to be 25 billion.
Unfortunately, that's all we can take on Front Page Review. When we return, we discuss the issue about ATM charges and withdrawals. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So in 2018, the Senate asked the Central Bank of Nigeria to direct banks in the country to increase maximum amount customers can withdraw from automated teller machines from 10,000 to 40,000 per transaction. However, the situation has gone from bad to worse. Instead of the increment, it has mostly gone from 20,000 to 10,000 and stayed there. Now, what are your thoughts on this? Many people have complained that when you go to the ATM, you can't take out more than 10,000 naira
Yes,
At once.
Now, you can call us on 081-270-53687 and 091-390-76948 or tweet us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag your view to share your thoughts on this. Many customers have complained, not just about how much you can even withdraw, the charges, the transfer charges for corporate accounts to personal accounts. These are conversations we'd like to hear, and we'll be bringing in our guests at some point to shed some light on this. But first, let me hear your thoughts on this. Let me start with you, Nina.
Yeah, so, you know, when I used to go to the ATM, after COVID, I just stopped. I have people I send to just get me the cash if I need cash. But most times it's cashless. You just carry your card and you're able to make payments. But I know that if you are withdrawing money from, you are using the card of that particular bank. For instance, if you're withdrawing from like a First Bank with the First Bank ATM, for instance, you can withdraw 40,000 at once. I knew that. But after a while, I think it's sort of not, because I have other cards as well, and I go to other banks, and I'm not able to withdraw more than 20,000 naira. And for each withdrawal, you are charged per that withdrawal. Right. So I think what now happened is, because they wanted you to pay more charges, so if you go to the ATM and probably want to get out 50,000 naira, you have to slot in your card five times, right, and you pay those charges. If it's 65 naira, you pay 65 naira 5 times.
No.
So
for 3 transaction on one card,
on one card,
paying 65 naira.
Okay,
that was 3.
You have to pay for the next one. So I think it was a way of the banks, you know, extorting more money from the customers, and I think they should look into it. And now we do not have a lot of people complain about, you know, all those charges. They seem very small. It's not 65 naira. You will not feel it till you don't have money in that account, and you realize that you can't even use what you have. So it's something we need to look into.
Let me share. Yeah, it was that COVID lockdown time. You know, I wanted to avoid ATMs. A lot of us wanted to avoid ATM, but that was when they were now executing this thing the most. So you'll be at an ATM and you're withdrawing, and the security will say, "Madam, it's 10,000 limit." You're calling them and say, "I've entered this amount." You knew, because at that time, before then, it was 40,000 any ATM
of the same bank.
Yes, and the CBN had regulated. So nobody notified us of the limit.
Of the change.
He was there's one at Atablia. They let them just leave the banks and their names, and it was 15,000 the first time. The next time I calculated, okay, you want to do 60, but let me just do it 4 times and I'll get to 60. And I went there and it was 10,000. So when I did the math and I saw the way the queue was, I said, these people are making making money. So resort to the POS that I left at home and pay maybe at once for the charges and come and queue up here. But then they will still charge the cards. The CBN failed woefully as a regulator on this, because not only that, in 2020 they had issued a 24-hour resolution time for failed transactions. You go still carry your receipts, go queue for bank. It's annoying.
After 7 days.
I think that was where I was going to, that this is failure of regulation, this is failure of system, and this is encouraging capitalism in a way that you are seeing. We saw the numbers. The companies that are needing encouragement, the businesses that are needing encouragement don't get it, and then the big banks are declaring profit year on year to the detriment of the average Nigerians. So the policy is supposed to ease Nigerians getting access to cash. you declared cashless policy, but we know that we still have like the unbanked people who we need to trade cash with. So when we go to the bank to collect and you are unable to collect 40,000 naira at once, it means that you're collecting 10,000 naira. When this policy came on board, we used to collect 20,000 naira. The ATM brought 20,000 naira as the maximum, and then they said let's increase it from 20,000 naira to 40,000 naira, and that policy never took place. So from regulators, they should be made to pay. There should be compensation to all of us that are bank with banks that have been cheated like this, because it is obvious cheating and profit sharing. And we must call it what it is, because when you have an ATM that is supposed to allow you withdraw 100,000 naira and you want to do it and you are doing it at 10,000 naira installments, it is a wastage of your time and also charges. And they should be
another thing we also observe. I mean, let me let you finish.
No, there are other costs of having an account with banks. So we know they have other charges. I received SMS charges this morning of almost 300 naira. What's happening? For just this month. I mean, who asked you people to greet me happy birthday in the first place? You know,
you greet me happy birthday.
I pay for it. So there are other charges that they make.
I want our callers to come in here, because this morning when I also get a guest, but we'll probably be bringing a guest some other time to discuss, but we'd like to hear Nigerians' views on this first. What are your experiences? What have you gone through? There are issues, number one, that Nigerians have complained about, that the mutilated money that comes out from the dispenser is horrible, it's terrible. Secondly, on holidays, about to have Easter very soon now. Holidays, the ATMs go dry almost immediately. After the first day, you don't have access. So they don't have proper systems to ensure that they reload these ATMs. So these are some of the issues Nigerians are complaining about. But
you're charging me for services. You're charging me for services, and you're not delivering the services, and I still get charged. So every time I go to the ATM, I should have money there. The environment should be conducive. Why must we stand on a long queue because you don't want inside your bank crowded? Like, there are basic amenities that you're supposed to provide as a bank, as in terms of facility for your clients. You don't provide it, and then you're charging.
I even want to say that I think they should be honest with us, especially the CBN, because most of these charges and all these transactions do not go unnoticed by the CBN. They take permission from the CBN before they are able to do all of this. So don't say you don't know, or you've given a directive and they are not following it. Tell us the truth. What is the state of things? What are we paying for? When we hear maintenance for your your card maintenance, I beg that they wash the card. I don't understand. You hear maintenance for your bank. Are we paying for the... So break it down. Let us know what we're paying for. Is there a platform that we're subscribing to be able to use the ATM? When we have all of this knowledge, we will know how to complain less.
Also, we're going to go on a quick break, because I'm even also worried that after the Senator Ashafa had sponsored this bill, 3 years down the line, the banks have not been able to implement it, because it was very specific on the bill to ensure that we are able to withdraw more than 10,000, at least 20,000 minimum, and maximum of 40,000 naira for withdrawal. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we'd like to hear your views on this. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're still on this issue of overcharged ATM machines and other charges that Nigerians have to face. And today I remember a conversation by Pastor Samade, who was saying that sane societies look for ways to solve problems and make things easier for the citizens. And that's one of the reasons why ATM was constructed, to make things easier. Other countries, people even go as far as deposit money through the ATM machines, just to reduce congestion in the banking halls. But now, in our own society, it seems almost counterproductive, because there are still lines outside, because things are not as smooth and easy as we expect them to be. So the question therefore is, where is the Minister of Finance in all this? Where is the CBN governor in all of this? Where are the lawmakers who have also tried to, they have oversight functions, and they've tried to make an effort, yet nothing is being done and nobody's looking at it?
Let me try and make sense of what I think the problem is. So the banks have different departments that have to work, but we've all outsourced most of our departments to contract staff. The person that is working that is badly motivated will, of course, let something fail. So we know somebody still needs to fill the ATM with cash. and that person has to work 24 hours out of time, called on short notice to resolve issues and all of that. The person you know pay and way is on contract. I'm just saying. No, I'm just saying. One time I stood at an ATM along Badagry Expressway, this particular bank, and let me not mention, and I looked at the woman that had to come that Saturday evening to come and resolve, and she just didn't look well. I was saying, how much would they be paying this person that the person will be feeling bad?
It could be something else wrong with
no, let's just assume. I mean, no, I wanted to think, but you know, and she was coming. Why are you calling me? Why are you calling me? What is it? How much are you paying me? Everybody's going to Canada now. All of us will eventually go to Canada.
Let me take this call from Mauritius. Good morning. Are you there? Hello.
Hello. Good morning.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
My name is Peace, and I'm calling from Mauritius.
Welcome to the show.
This is my first time calling. Thank you very much. I could hear you very faintly, Moraya. I can hear you clearly. I think I can hear only Nima. Hello?
Are you following the show? Are you following our topic today?
Yes, I'm following you guys on the show, but my TV set is switched off so that I can hear you directly from the phone.
Okay, thank you for that.
Yeah. Okay. Very quickly. It is quite sad that a country like Nigeria will still be discussing about this. I mean, in all the developing countries, once even the president hears Senate, he will be afraid. But for banks to put their hands on their chest and shun the Senate on what resolution has been given, it is quite sad and unfortunate. As we speak, as a Nigerian, I'm here in Mauritius. Our passport has been expired for quite a few months now, and there has been no delegation from the immigration to come and renew this passport. We've been suffering, but we suffered to get out of the country. I came here for schooling. After schooling, I got a job. I'm working here in Mauritius. But the problem is my documents have expired. Everything about Nigeria is so stressful. I don't really know. Get it?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Peace, for Mauritius.
Let's take
yes,
some
please.
tweets.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mr. Adebayo says Nigerian government clamoring for a cashless policy, yet they are exploiting the citizens for following their policy. So many hidden charges. The bank MD is growing faster while customers are being shredded into pieces. It's only in Nigeria that you get charged for internet banking. 15 naira per every transfer. It's ridiculous.
Abe John says banks charge you for transferring and charge the person you transferred when withdrawing. They intentionally wait hours before refilling the ATM cash. How can a bank declare billions in COVID time? Strange. One of the banks is celebrated for that now. Oluwafe Ishayo says, I was still ranting to my roommate on how I was debited 180 naira for SMS charges. And I am a student too. I don't know the money I received this month that made them deduct that kind of amount. I don't want their SMS again. They should hold it. Ashikpa James says, we suspect that the audacity of banks in flouting orders seems to stem from the fact that those issuing such orders have been compromised.
Let me take Ikechuku from Enugu. Ikechuku, are you there? Ikechuku from Enugu, are you there?
Hello?
Good morning, you are live.
Yes, good morning.
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, though I cannot hear you, but I can follow you.
Okay, I can hear you very clearly. Go ahead, please.
The bank charges. What I want to say is that the wickedness in Nigeria has been extended to the banking sector. This is sheer wickedness. Just because they want to make money, they will not allow you to withdraw more than 10,000 naira. Because they know that once you withdraw from the third withdrawal with that ATM in another bank, every other withdrawal will be charged 65,000 naira. Sorry, 65 naira. So that is what the banks are out to make money from the people. This is a country that anything goes in Nigeria. It's like we don't have a government. The government to make the government to give a directive. Nobody will listen to it. It's not only in the banking sector. Look at you just mentioned about the petrol tanker drivers want to go on a strike. This country, everybody is taking us for a ride. And there is this conspiracy of silence, both from the electorate, the populace, and everybody. People just keep quiet. They want to direct their anger. They say N10. Nobody wants to direct your anger to other places. other sectors. They are taking us for a ride in this country.
Thank you very much, Ikechukwu. So, as I said, this morning we're just sharing Nigerians' experience concerning, and hopefully at some time very soon we'll bring in an expert from the financial sector to come and shed light on why these things are as they are, so that people can have a better understanding. Yeah. We're going to wrap up on this. Let's take a few more tweets.
Okay. He says, during the Christmas, we call the bank, set most of their ATMs points to dispense only 3,000 naira per transaction.
Yes.
Those dispensing 10K and 5K would have very long queues, so you are forced to use the one of 3,000 naira if you want to live there. These banks are shameless. I didn't want to mention the bank, but we have another celebration coming up, the Easter celebrations. Can we please not put our people through hardship? You know, and some of these banks, sadly, I want to go back to their workers' welfare. There was a joke at an ATM. This banker just didn't look like a bank. You know, in the earlier days, even girls wanted to marry bankers.
They know.
Now, you better think twice. We were queuing at an ATM and two guys were joking. I look at this one. I had concluded the guys were Yahoo guys, but they might not be. But they saw the way he looked. Banks should make sure that their workers have housing.
Banks have found ways to cut the costs by using contractors.
They are declaring large profits, and their workers are badly motivated. It's wrong.
You go to the bank and you see them, your cashiers don't look like the bankers that you would want to see in the bank. And that's because they are not actually paid as the way bankers should be paid.
I'm answering you now, just to cut me ATM. What is it? I'm answering you, I'm coming now.
So we started this conversation on ATM. Now you moved it to customer service. But we'll talk about it. We have to run up on for you. Let me let you final comments.
For a bit. So I do not understand how banks will not work directly with service providers, that's network service providers, to give them proper network. So anytime you go to the ATM, there's no network here, there's no network there. So with their caliber, if it's ordinary individuals, you can say maybe you did not fill your data, you did not put data in your phone. But their banks, they should have a standard of network, of service, so that every time their customers come, you can access, you can drive through like 4 banks, no network, no network, no. What's happening now? What did they happen?
All right, we have to run up on this. Unfortunately, that's all we can take. But as I said, we just lamented this morning. We need to bring in experts at some point to help us shed light on this. Well, that's all we can take on this segment. I think we've made our thoughts clear on this. Let's go on a break. When we come back, move on to another really important hot topic that caught our attention over the weekend. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So, over the weekend, we welcomed the state of Rivers State. Welcomed and honored Burna Boy for obviously winning the Grammys recently, which the whole of Nigeria actually celebrated him. So he got an honors welcome, a hero's welcome, and after that, they had an event where the governor actually, go ahead.
They gave him, according to the governor, this title, this honor we are giving him is the second highest honor in Rivers State for service. In fact, it is honor, reserved for the deputy governor's alone. So he didn't just give him his own. He stopped at the deputy governor's own for him. Okay. First of all, Burna, 2 hands for you. I'm twirling for you. You're a good artist. You deserve honor. But you're not a broke artist. You know, you've worked your way even.
Let's talk about the issues first.
But let me just so that Burna.
I'll let you dramatize. Don't worry. I'll let you dramatize.
The governor now went and said, all the artists that are singing, I don't care what the Ministry of Tourism and Culture have promised you, but all of you go with 10 million naira. Yay! This is homecoming. Most of you. And we will welcome Burna Boy home by giving him land in the whole GRA, and we'll give him money to build it. You see, all of you, when you grow, you go to Lagos, go to Kanu, you go abroad. Home is home. Home is home.
Again now, it's twice.
And that's where I stop.
Okay. Okay, so thank you for giving us that premise. But the conversation we're going to have is, what are your thoughts? Because obviously, many Nigerians went for the governor on social media, criticizing him that you're yet to pay salaries. In fact, you're owing. Some are saying 5 years, some are saying 5 months. I don't have the data right now, but I know that he's owing, just like many other governors across this country, are owing their staff teachers salaries, and yet he's giving out 10 million naira to all the artists. They didn't tell us exactly how many artists performed, but everybody was going home with 10 million naira. And we wanted to hear what are your thoughts on this, because there was a time that you say this and you get away with it and it's not a big deal. But now that we're in the social media area, everything you say can and will be used against you. In the court of social media, everybody's talking about it. Everything you say is criticized, is scrutinized in every way. So what are your general thoughts? Do you think his gesture is acceptable as a governor, or do you think he was wrong? The people are saying, who are criticizing him, are right, saying that it was wrong for him to make that kind of gesture.
Okay.
Bisi, do you want to go?
Let me go, because you see, for me, I am one of those that believe that what we encourage will thrive. What we discourage would wither away. We have, as a country, encouraged corruption, and we have encouraged unseriousness. We have encouraged blow. We have encouraged that money just comes.
Quick money.
Quick money. And so we've seen desperation towards anyhow, let me just attain this quick money status. And we haven't encouraged the STEM. We haven't encouraged civil servants. We haven't encouraged teachers. How I wish that we just declare over 1 million naira for all the teachers in the states. The level, the change that would give, the morale it would give to the education sector within that state would produce Burna Boy's times. I believe Burna Boy should be celebrated. He's worked hard. He's put Nigeria on the world stage. Put River States, now everybody knows that he's from Rivers. But beyond that, I feel like it is misplaced priority with the way that money was being, with what he said concerning how he wants to spend money. Very, very misplaced priority. In order of what is important to be done in his state at this moment, it is not to be sharing money to people that came to perform.
Okay, Bisi, your thoughts?
So, personally, I'm not one to judge how people choose to spend their money. If you have personal money, if you have worked for your money, you can use it as toilet paper. It doesn't concern me, you know. But as a governor who is accountable to his people, who we can hold responsible, we expect you to do certain things for us and we can hold you to it. You are supposed to answer to us. I found the video very unsettling, because I realized that we've had issues where our schools are not properly, you know, equipped to handle the modern education that will take us into innovations. Entertainment is good. Entertainment is very healthy. You know, it keeps you happy, keeps you entertained, and, you know, takes away the stress of life. But aside from entertainment, every country, every state that wants to grow, that wants to develop, that wants to take their people out of poverty, always focused on innovation. And how do you get innovation? You are getting it through the schools and through the teachers. Now, if you have done something privately without, you know, being out there to show that you are giving 10 million to artists, nobody will know what you have done. But coming out is passing a message to the young ones there that they should forget about school. Just go sing and something will happen and you will make that money as fast as you can. So it's the intention may be right because you are excited. Hold on. You're excited and you wanted to encourage them. But we need to get to a level where we look at the impact of the actions that we take, especially if you're in public office. Where is this 10 million naira coming from? Is it from the state coffers? Is it from your personal account? How do we know that is not the money that's supposed to be used for insecurity or supposed to be used for something else that you have used
I'll
you
come
know?
to you with their name for a second, because I want us to focus on not just him, but the fact that leaders need to understand what time it is. I don't think our leaders generally understand that the times have changed. Yeah. There's a time a governor would do this 10, 15, 20 years ago. You do that and nobody... Everybody is... So the outlandish way they behave, the largesse they try to share as if, oh, I'm in charge.
Telling us we are broke.
Yeah, so that they don't think they get it.
Nigeria is a funded loan project. You have to go and seek funds for it. So I'm wondering,
where is this money
the money that you just declared, sir? How many artists? 10 million each. Is it your personal fund? Because I don't care if it comes from your account. If you're a Dangote's account holder and you have that kind of money and you declare it,
or if Tinubu invited Burna
they can be doing Baba with 3 hands up, no problem. But there's a problem when it's state funds. You know, we have governors who, they will sit down, there's a problem, we say, we have to put together a committee. They cannot even solve the problem. But when it becomes time for this kind of things, you are shouting.
You don't put together a
Burna Boy wasn't made by anything River State. That's a fact. How many schools in River State aided his music? Is music a course study in Nigeria that can thrive? He fought and struggled. Did you see the video? In fact, he should be commending Burna Boy. And is it not enough that you gave him property? Because property is more valuable than money. Money will be lavished quickly. You gave him property in OGRA in Port Harcourt. And that's enough honor. You have given him homecoming. He will build it. And he would have property there that will bring him back to Port Harcourt. But how many music theaters did you build? Because, you know, this is a funded, this is an international award. We have artists in Nigeria that do as well as Burna Boy. And they're struggling on their own. Why is it that it's until international award come that we want to honor our own? If we did not win Grammy, was it not from River State all the while? Is his mother not from River State?
We didn't even know. I felt
our problem, we have roads issues, national issues. The National Theatre where he shot the video, I remember saying it here that it is in the worst kind of state it should ever be. When I drove past it on Sunday, I looked at the canals to the river, to the National Theatre, and body was still paining me. But now you're giving him an award. He is even more foresighted than the governor.
So we're going to go on a quick break because I'm going to open our phone lines and Twitters now because my focus is, as I said, I don't want to focus so much on Governor Wike because now know him. They all like that.
Even the other one in Ogun State, the other day, somebody won 90 million.
You can't add your own.
You say you want to give him 5 million.
I'm thinking it's important
just add your own.
Remember the real issues. Many of these states are not, they don't have IGRs.
No.
The money they have is federal allocation. It's not as if you're not built. So this one that you're sharing, on what basis? Which business did the governor do? Which personal business are you doing? Are you a contractor? Which company have you built to get kind of revenue to be given out? So it is the Nigerian leaders must understand that times have changed. You can't just wake up morning and say, I'm giving out 100 million naira to XYZ. Let's go on the break. We're taking phone calls when we come back. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. All right, so we're still on the issue of Governor Wike's gift. And I would like to bring it home a bit because it's always easy to criticize when we see it done outside. But the truth is that if any one of us were artists at these events, would we deny or accept the gifts given to us? We're there, 10 million naira, because we're all Nigerians. Let's be truthful to ourselves. We all criticize it, but the truth is that you've come to perform at an event, and the governor says, for all of you here, I'm giving out 10 million naira. Some of us even criticize the young people who are hailing and shouting. But if we, each of us, different people were there, would you receive or not receive? Let me think, while you're thinking of the response, let me take Yakub. Yakub, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there, Mulayo. Let me begin by...
I can't hear you very well, Yakub. Could you speak a bit louder, please?
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
We can't hear you, but go ahead.
Hello, okay.
Okay, it's been increased. The volume has been increased. Thank you very much.
Oh, okay, thank you very much. Well, good morning once again, Sister Nima, and then all the rest of the team in the studio. Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Morayo, let me begin by saying, when you say that those guys, are they going to collect the money or they will reject the money? Let me say that they are there for purpose. And then the purpose is that most of them are looking to the governor. Maybe something will come out, and then finally something come out. They see it as a gift. You get it? But the question is this. Sister Nima said something earlier that is so germane to my mind. What is the state of education in that state? What is the state of insecurity in that state? And then as a governor, you see, why all these things happen is that we are in a country where the government have an immunity. Immunity they have, they did whatever they like. Because as being that we found ourselves in a country whereby that if the government does something wrong, the following day, the institution will go after that governor, they will probe him and then put him where he belongs to. How could you give him 10 million naira to a Burna Boy because he win an international award? And then in the case of education in your state, the teacher in that state, what is their living? The head of those teachers, what is the good living of the doctors? So, to me, it is a show whereby you have access to security force.
All right, thank you very much, Yaku. So,
my question that is it about Bible? I think it's a Bible that where your treasure is, your heart will be there, and you know where you put your money shows where your heart really is. So when we, from Governor Wike's display of financial generosity, we know where his heart is. He wants to have fun. He likes having fun. Somebody can say he's appreciative of people. But, you know, we spend money on what is pinching us most. Now, waiting they pinch you, you go treat. So, if the condition of your state, the health situation is pinching you, if the insecurity is pinching you, even when you really appreciate somebody else, money that I don't have, I cannot give.
Will you collect?
I will not.
The question is, would you
collect?
collect?
Collect or will you not collect?
Wait, I'm coming.
The question should be reversed.
No, hold on. Let her answer.
So,
will she collect?
my responsibility as an individual that you have given a gift is not to say, no, I'm not going to collect the gift from you. You've given it to me, I'll collect it. Because at the end of the day, if I do not collect it, it will still misspend it because it's already wired that way. So, it's a case of...
collect it to help his case.
Okay, point. You have to wrap up.
Now, there are people of a different mindset who will be like, oh, let everybody collectively say no, we're not collecting it, spend this money on something else. This money rather should be used to develop the society.
Let me take you because, see, Nigerians will understand that we also have responsibilities in this conversation.
Yes.
It's easy to say, oh, he gave out. Did you collect? So would you collect? That's the question.
I will not regret.
See, I will collect because it is the responsibility of the giver. It's not my responsibility as a receiver to start telling you that you should have done this and done that.
I will prioritize how I give.
If you come to my house and I give you 2 pieces of meat, will you say you're not eating it because you have noticed that my children have not eaten meat? You will eat. Then when you go home, like, do you know that when I got to that house, even the children have not eaten.
Why did you
you will eat because you will not reject. It will be unfair to reject a gift. It's not a custom to reject a gift.
So if you all collect, why are we criticizing Governor Wike?
Because the giver.
Let me come.
Let me take this truth. Remlex says these people are not ready for a leader that doesn't share the money. Building infrastructure and economics are just English. They will say, now waiting people go chop that. As far as these people are concerned, Wike is a great man. These kind of leaders win elections.
Yes.
Now, the problem is leaders who don't know where to put the money. They don't know. Wike is clearly not a governor who knows what the problem of these people are.
Okay, let me pause you for a second.
You share the money, go there, take the money, share the money.
I've been holding for a while. Chooks from Abuja, are you there? Thanks for calling.
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, go ahead. You're live.
Okay, good morning.
Morning, sir.
Well, this is my first time, and I just want to... Yeah, I want to congratulate you, but I have a problem with what you are discussing. Okay. Number one, I'm from Rivers. Okay. There is nothing wrong in in appreciating people who excel in their endeavors.
Okay. Absolutely nothing.
In Nigeria today, I am not a politician, but I tell you, Wike has done what most governors has not done.
Wow.
In fact, the development in Rivers, if there is any governor who has touched life of people, Wike is on that trajectory. So what I'm trying to say is this. I watch you people, you have been celebrating
Burna Boy.
Not Burna Boy. Your first item, you are celebrating Tinubu for who he has been in Lagos. But people forgot that the problem that Nigeria is today, Tinubu is there.
Chooks, may I ask the question? Because there's nothing wrong in celebrating people and honoring people. The largesse that, was blatantly put in the face as a Rivers State city indigene, are you okay with it? The amount of money is thrown around.
Hello, Chooks, are you still there? Okay, I think we lost him. All right, so I think we need to be clear. Yeah. We are not against celebrating.
That's why we
celebrating Burna Boy. No, the issue is Nigeria, because I'm still asking the ladies and all our viewers. Yeah. There are two parts here. We've celebrated Burna Boy, no doubt. The governor offered everyone who performed plus Burna Boy 10 million naira. Yeah, we're not also, for what you've said, if you were there, you would take. Yes. Now, the question is, where is the money 10 million naira coming from? You as the receiver, would you ask where the money is coming from, number one?
I will ask.
If you will not ask the governor, or you go and grumble outside, you will not ask the governor.
You go and grumble outside.
You will not ask. So you collect the 10 million naira, you will go and grumble and say, I don't even know where this money is coming from.
It's a public event. The governor has honored you with something. Questioning him at that time it will be
inappropriate.
It's inappropriate. But you will wonder what your governor is thinking. Yes. Now we have heard from a River State indigene that this is a governor who's developed other parts of their state. But this is a governor that I have not heard his blueprint on the entertainment industry, River State. And this is not how I would love to hear it. I didn't like the way Ambode, did certain things in Lagos. But he built theaters across the regions in Lagos for entertainment. He supported that industry and he showed in whatever legacy he left. So we would love to see that you name a music theater, a training center, you provided where other people can come and harness their talent. Okay, and name it after Burna Boy. It is honor too.
Yes, okay.
After you give our property, you have to be declaring money everywhere.
That's naming a museum or creating something may come later. It may be in his plan. He hasn't told us his plan. But I did a little research on him yesterday, and I realized that he has actually done a lot in terms of education in the state. He's been revamping both public schools across the state. They mentioned the names of the school. I have that on my phone, but I can't open it right now.
So we have to run. So I think one thing that is important for us to know is that what leaders should understand, Nigerians are watching. Yeah. When you come out and say, I'm giving out 10 million per person, we're wondering,
where is it coming from?
We will get the quality of leader that we deserve. A citizen from River State already said he's a fantastic leader. They like the fact that he's giving to them. Thankfully, we've had an experience with Fashola, who is not a dashing money house.
He's a fantastic leader. You can be a fantastic leader in different ways. If you are giving out 10 million naira, is it the right decision to make? Where is that money? That's the question. But nobody is saying that you shouldn't give out. Nobody says you shouldn't give out. Saying that where is the money? Is it your personal fund? Is it the state government's fund? And could this money from the state government could have been done used for something better? That's the question.
The giver needs to decide that.
Where we disagree.
So we are not hypocritical. Nigerians are saying that if they were there, they will collect. That's what we can take on
this. We will not lie.
They don't say collect.
That is all.
We will not reject.
You will collect the money.
We will not reject.
You got abusing on internet and Twitter and everything. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we discuss the issue of police. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
We don't lie.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with the soul. Going to our final topic for today. Last week, Wednesday, the Senate began the move to decentralize Nigeria's police command structure. The bill titled the Niger Police Act 2020 Amendment Bill 2021 is joining us on the show now is the sponsor of the bill exactly, who is the Chairman Senate Committee on Media and Public Affairs, Senator Surajuddin Ajibola Bashiru from Osun Central. Good morning, sir. Are you there? Hello, sir.
Yeah, good morning. I'm here.
Good to have you on the show.
Good morning. I hope you can hear me.
Very clearly, very clearly. So we've been discussing issues of decentralizing the police. But this bill in particular is seeing how they can ensure that the budgeting and operations come from the zonal offices. Could you explain to us why this is essential at this time?
Yes, the issue of security has been a burning issue in our national discourse and national experience in a couple of years. And several propositions are being made as to how to tackle this issue. As far as I am concerned, as somebody sworn to uphold the Constitution of Nigeria, the starting point is Section 14 subsection 2, paragraph C of the 1999 Constitution as amended, which clearly provides that the security and welfare of the people is the paramount purpose of governance. You cannot even be talking of welfare of the people if the issue of security is not taken care of. As at last year, I had put forward a bill for constitutional amendment to introduce state police. I think my colleague, Senator Ekeribadu, also had another bill along that line. But as that is still an ongoing process, the Senate, under the leadership of Senator Herbert Lawal, CON, also set up a committee headed by the leader of the Senate, Dr. Yahya Abdullahi, on the need to examine the security architecture of Nigeria. February 17, 2020, the Senate in plenary received this report. The report had far-reaching recommendations on how to address problem of insecurity. And one of these has to do with decentralization of the Nigerian police. But as it were, these resolutions, as well as some other resolutions of the Senate, were forwarded to the executive, and we have not been able to see what has been done. But the question that we usually ask is, who will bear the cat? I feel that these salient recommendations on the need to decentralize the Nigerian police for effectiveness, economy, and service delivery need to be taken. And that is the basis of the bill that was read the first time at the Senate last week. So I would say that it's not entirely my own personal idea, but an aggregation of the view of the Nigerian Senate, particularly the Yahya Abdullahi the committee, which was accepted by the Nigerian Senate. Right. And the whole essence is to ensure that we cannot continue to have a unitary police system in a fast country as Nigeria.
Right, okay, go ahead.
That's the issue of insecurity in the country being the basis or what informed this amendment that we're looking at now. How much of the issues around the hashtag NSAS informed this amendment as well? So have you collated some of the issues or all of the issues that the youth had about the hashtag NSAS and put them into this amendment?
No, the issue of the NSAS matter is different from the issue of reforming the police. The complaint of the NSAS is not about addressing frontally the problem of insecurity. By my own understanding, the NSAS protest is about lack of rule of law, lack of respect for human rights, and unnecessary arbitrariness on the part of the special force of the Nigerian police, which is called SARS. But this one proposition is about ensuring that service of the Nigerian police gets to the Nigerian people. A situation whereby, as of today, we have 556 police formations in terms of the headquarters, the 17 zonal command, the area commands, the regional police office, police stations, police posts, 567 under the hierarchical command of the Inspector General of Police. It does not augur well for a vast country like Nigeria, and we need to do something, and indeed do something urgently to address the problem of insecurity. Right. Efforts at developing this country economically, at enhancing productivity, at alleviating poverty cannot be achieved in an atmosphere of perpetual insecurity.
Right. All right, Senator. So I know that this bill seeks to establish Zonal Security Advisory Council and State Security Advisory Council. I'm weary about all of these councils and committees. I see them as a way of wasting time. We already know the issues of insecurity. Do we have to have councils again in the zonal and in the states to come up with solutions on how to curb insecurity?
I think this is not a question of a waste. The council itself is not a council peopled by people that withdraw salaries and emoluments from government. For instance, senators, House of Rep members, House of Assembly members, traditional rulers, community leaders, religious leaders are going to be members of this State Advisory Council and Zonal Advisory Council. And I will tell you the problem of insecurity is a persistent problem everywhere in the world. Nobody can say that he has the solution for it for all time. So the essence of the Zonal Advisory Council, State Advisory Council, is to ensure that stakeholders get engagement with the necessary security operative. And you will know, just like politics, security is also local. And that is why the question of decentralization of the Nigerian police becomes very important. I'll give you an example. I was an Attorney General in my state of Osun. We had challenges whereby there are no core investigating police officers that will be at all time around for the purpose of detecting, investigating, and even prosecuting offenders. You will be midway into prosecuting a criminal offense, and the officer will be transferred either to Enugu or Kaduna. So if there are effective core personnel, core structure at the zonal level, you can be sure that the question of detection, the question of intelligence, and the question of prosecution is within the ambit of what distance can cover and what local circumstances will be able to address.
Okay, so you sort of addressed the question I wanted to ask, but I want to get it clearly. One of the issues people have had is that you cannot have someone who doesn't understand the culture, the language, or the character of the society properly secure that environment. Is this new push for decentralization, would it influence the fact that the commissioners of police must come from, or the DPOs must come from the locality in a way that endangers, like it's a different thing if a native man is the DPO and is talking to the Oba that he has known all his life concerning the insecurity in that country? Is that one of the things that this new law is pushing to achieve? And how is the law going about it?
In fact, this will not necessarily have to be in the new bill. There's a 2020 Police Act, which was passed and assented to by the president mid of last year. Unfortunately, and possibly because of the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, there has not really been proper implementation. One of the recommendations and the provision in that law, is not a law now, assented to by Mr. President, was community policing and the recruitment of local constabulary. The question of local cultural knowledge is very important and experience, but it doesn't have to be at the level of the state and the command alone. Even the people who are in the locality, by the time there's proper engagement of community policing, there is proper engagement of local effective way of giving information, understanding the nuances of the criminal in the locality, and this will enhance the idea of policing. And it's one of the missing links in our security architecture is that of local intelligence. I remember when I was in the university and I had cause to stay in the Butebeta, and because of the streets in that place, we invariably we know when a theft occur, and which particular gang is more likely to be involved in that regard. And I also know, even in growing up in Osogbo in the early 70s and 80s, there are local police informants that go around and gather information. I think the question of intelligence gathering and being able to properly articulate this in the context of local information will definitely assist. And one of the areas that you can help in this regard is about having necessary budget, necessary control over this budget, and necessary oversight, which I believe decentralization along zonal line, which will comprise of 2 or 3 states, will definitely assist us.
So that was actually my next question, because there's always issues for funding. So I understand that strengthening the zonal commands can actually help to decentralize intelligence across communities. But in one breath, the Southwest is asking for deregulation. They're asking for regional autonomy. And the next breath, you're still going back to this issue of decentralizing on zonal commands. Are you aligned with the other senators across the region on their drive to decentralize, not just the police, but the entire structure across board? Senator,
I'm definitely a representative of my state as a senator in the Constitutional Review Committee. And I will also say that, like other of my colleagues, I'm very actively involved in the debate and making a constitution. It is not so much about what I personally desire, or my colleague senator from the Southwest desire, but an aggregation based on consensus or majority of what Nigerians require. Presently, there's an ongoing debate, I can tell you, at the level of Constitutional Review Committee as to how to address the concern about, for instance, the state police. Some of our colleagues in some other part of the country, because of their experience of the native authority policing, and of course, the perceived overbearing influence of our state governors, have serious concern about issue of the state police. And of course, the question of funding, having regard to the fact that many states are said to be insolvent and unable to pay. But these arguments are being countered by some other arguments to say that the question of funding has to also be looked at a decentralization of police, and the country has to be looked about the revenue allocation formula currently in place. A situation whereby 56% of the national resources goes to a single level of government, that's the federal government, and the states are 36 plus the federal capital territory have to battle with 24% of allocation, with the implication that no state of the 36 states and FCT has a share of even up to a percentage of Nigerian resources. So the question of revenue allocation will counter the argument about the centralization of police and some other functions.
Okay.
But I will say that the Nigerian Constitution take, in view of the ongoing exercise, is still ongoing, but that we cannot fold our hands and not introduce some palliative that could be of assistance in the interim, like a kind of transition provision. And that is the logic of the bill that I've introduced.
Right. So let me quickly commend you on this bill so far with all that you have said. But I remember the reason I joined the hashtag NSAS at the time was because it concerned totally the welfare of the police as it is presently. So yes, the hashtag started as a matter of arbitrary behavior of the police, but it extended to their welfare as a cause for why they would do such and extort people money from Nigerians. The housing provided for the police nationally now is still a matter that we must fight against. Is this decentralization also covering their welfare, housing, and other allowances that make life worth living, and will motivate them to do better at their jobs?
I certainly agree with you that you cannot expect people to put their life and their limb on the line without proper remuneration, without proper incentive, and in fact, without proper training. But I believe that when you have a decentralized structure with proper budgetary and operational autonomy, that would enhance oversight as to even how the current budget level are actually expended in terms of personnel, in terms of overhead, and in terms of addressing the immediate needs of our police formations. A situation whereby, even as a private individual, the police formation will have to be begging you for tires. They will be asking you for provision of light in police station. Does not augur well, for an efficient, vibrant and effective police force. So I'm in agreement with you that we need to do something about not only professionalizing, not only digitalizing, but enhancing the life status of our police personnel, and of course enhancing their welfare. And I believe, just as the news of the bill has come out, it is gratifying that many police personnel, even at the highest level, had occasion to interact with me, and they believe that we are speaking in the right direction. We cannot sleep and rest on our hours until we have a professional resourced police security.
All right, go ahead.
All right, Senator. So I want to know the apparatus this bill, if finally it gets passed into law, will use to curb corruption, because corruption is rife across board. One of the issues we've had with the policing system in the country is that issue of corruption. So if it succeeds in being decentralized, is there any apparatus that will help us curb corruption at the zonal and state level that will take us away from the issues we still have with the police? Or is there any way you're going to ship in other people that are not Nigerians to handle this policing system? What do you have in place inside this bill that will ensure that the issues that bedeviled the general police will not come down to the zone and the states?
I think the issue of corruption is not just limited to security of our system. And what I think that this effort at decentralization may help in that regard will be a question of reducing the scope of oversight. A situation whereby, as I told you, presently we have 565 or so police formations in the country, which is being oversighted by the national headquarters as is headed out. I assume that if you have a situation whereby Oyo and the Osun have a zonal command, which has effective autonomy to oversight and also on their budgetary allocation as to how to expend this may reduce the scope of even what will be available, assuming that the issue of corruption will also arise. And of course, the scope of the supervision and oversight will also be reduced. That would mean that looking at 565 formation, at the most, at the zonal level, you are looking at about 200 or 300 police formation, or at the best 300 or 400. I think this reduction in the scope of oversight may also assist in that regard. But more than that, we need a realistic wage. And remuneration for the question of corruption and the question of inefficiency and professionalism. You cannot expect somebody to emphasize security of millions of dollars of investment without even being able to pay his bill, without being able to talk about educating his children and taking of his health. It's not just about moralism. It's just about assuring that we have effective police service.
Let me throw in this question from Josh. Joshua, are you there? I'm sorry, I kept you for a while.
So, sir, I want to just quickly ask this question. We've seen many bills come to the floor. We've seen many being passed and not being implemented. Based on what the progress so far and what you are seeing on the floor of the National Assembly, what would you say would be the timeline for the full implementation of this new proposed bill?
I will not lie to you. I cannot for certain say that there are a lot of processes that goes into bill progressing in the Senate. And of course, even after the Senate might have passed this bill, it will still go for concurrence in the House of Rep. But it is gratifying that when I was on my way out of Abuja on a Friday, I met with the vice chairman of the Committee on Police in the House of Representatives, and he raised the issue with me, even without me nudging him, that my colleagues at the House of Rep are already discussing, and they want to interface with us for expeditious consideration. And I also know the chairman of the House of Rep Committee on Police, Senator Kumo, appears to be a colleague in the student activism, and we relate very well. So a lot of things going to about getting the consensus. And I also must also mention that even on Thursday, the Senate leader, Dr. Yaya Abdullahi, called me on arrival at Sokoto to say that we need to interface and see how we can ensure that these are done. And of course, I work closely with the chairman, Senate Committee on Business, and of course the leadership of the National Assembly. This, as I said, is not entirely my idea, but an extraction from the already approved resolution on the security architecture by the Senate leadership.
Let me take this call. Abubakar from Sokoto, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
How are you?
Very good.
That's very good. Your program is quite interesting here.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. I've been following you guys all these days. I've always admired your programs anyway.
Thank you, sir.
You're now talking about police decentralization.
Yes.
Well, decentralizing police is not our main problem in this country.
Go ahead, sir. We can hear you.
Yeah. It's not our main problem, decentralizing the police. Because once you decentralize the police, you will never get effectiveness, obviously. Wow. So what we need to do is to face the reality. We have problem on the ground of insecurity in this country. So we don't need to wait until we decentralize police before we start doing something about it. all you need to do is to equip the police very well, equip them very well, give them incentives, enlarge the size of the force, and see what is going to happen, really. So that
we've been putting money in this sector for so long. We've had people embezzle this money. Don't you think it hasn't been effective for the past few years that we've done this?
But
did you get that, Abubakar?
Hey, I'm hearing.
I can hear you. Okay, I think he's listening to the TV. We have to run. Unfortunately, that's all we can take on this. Senator, are you still there? Senator Bashir.
I'm here.
Yeah, thank you. We have to wrap up on you, but is there any final comment on this? Is there any final comment on this you want to tell us before we run off?
I think what I want to say is that we cannot continue to run the same system without appraisal, without attempt to try to innovate and continue to say that anything will change. As a Muslim, I think Almighty Allah said that the society will not change if they also don't change, their attitude and their perspective to issue. It is time that we need to change our attitude to over-centralized and unitary system in our country. We need compact organizations, well-funded and professionalized to address the problem of insecurity. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.
Nice being here.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you very much. Good pleasure having you. So we have to wrap up. I must inform you that the Bola Tinubu colloquium is holding today in Kano at 12 p.m. and TVC News Channel will be showing the live features from there. And so please hang on to watch that later on today. That's all we can take on the show. See you tomorrow. Bye for now.